Hi, today I am at Southwest Covenant Schools in Yukon. With me I have Mr. Steve Lessman, who's the headmaster of the schools, as well as Kevin Cobbs, who's the high school principal. I've been really excited about this interview because I had a daughter that graduated from here in 2014, and so it's got a special place in my heart, so welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
First of all, Mr. Lessman, can you give us a little background and a little bit of history about the school?
Sure. Covenant Community Church had been given a lot of land and provided for back in the late 70s, early 80s, and the vision of some of the leaders of the church at that time were that there must be something more than just the church on Sunday and Wednesdays for these 40 plus acres. And so Dr. Jack Huff, which is the Huff Ear Institute, and his son and family had a vision for Christian education. And so they started Southwest Covenant Schools in 1982, small little elementary for many years, and then by the 90s they began moving into high school and had its first graduating class in 1996. From the very beginning, it was a ministry to not just from that church, but to all the churches in our community, for all families in this part of the Yukon or western Oklahoma City who had an interest in Christian education. And so here we are 30 plus years later, and just really growing and fulfilling the vision.
Yeah. I personally know several families that every one of their children, and we're talking, between 3 and 5 kids, every one of them have gone from elementary all the way through to high school. They've done really well, and watching the kids grow has been really cool. So some personal experience there. But would you tell us a little bit about the principals and the curriculum of the school?
Principal, we have a secondary principal, Mr. Cobbs, and elementary principal, Mrs. Hawley, who are outstanding spiritual leaders, but also academically providing a really strong curriculum. And our curriculum is college preparatory, the secondary level, very strong academically, but the thing that is unique is that it is a biblical education. The fact that God's word is true really is the foundation of all that we do. We call our biblical worldview. So students are learning math and history and just from a really strong curriculum, from certified wonderful teachers. They're learning it with that foundation of what God says is true, and viewing the curriculum through that lens.
That's really great. I know from the curriculum standpoint, there's in the college prep side of it, I personally can vouch for the fact that it definitely prepares kids for the next step of life.
Yeah.
Of college, and the graduation is just phenomenal because of watching all of the success of the kids.
Our students, the scholarships they receive, we've had many national merit scholars. Our ACT scores are outstanding, and those are great things. But and if you want a private school, those would be things you're looking for.
Right.
Yet there's a uniqueness of our Christian education to our school that really is the foundation. I kind of like to think of the academics as a byproduct of the foundation of our school.
True. So. What about future plans? I know that we're sitting in a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous new building that was completed after my daughter graduated. Yeah, that's part of it, I guess. But anyway, can you tell us a little bit about your future plans?
Yeah, so we're just moved in this elementary a year and a half ago. So we're in our second full year in this new beautiful elementary building, and so we're growing. We're able to reach more families in our community. We're growing from the ground up, from elementary moving into high school. And so we have just kind of shown our patrons our renderings and plans for a new high school, athletic facilities, gymnasium that we're going to build here, part of this campus, but on 10 acres. And so it's a big project and a big vision. We're going to spend some time having to raise that money and find people who want to invest and believe that what we're doing in Christian education is really making a positive impact on our country and our communities. And so we're in the fundraising stage to grow so that all the kids we have in our elementary will flow right up through high school and continue to reach more families in this community who want Christian education.
Right. It's an outstanding facility, and I I know when my daughter was here, one of the goals was eventually to have a field house just across the property. And I saw the renderings today of the future field house. It's going to be magnificent, and I'm really excited for the future of this school.
Yeah, we're very excited.
So let's talk about the Patriot Project. Southwest Covenant, it's a school that teaches a servant's heart, and that's one thing I've really appreciated about it from personal experience. But the Patriot Project is the school's one school-wide fundraiser per year. Mm-hmm. And so tell us a little bit about it, the impact it has on the community and the charities that it serves.
It's really a remarkable thing that our students, family members give up one day to go serve our community. And we partner with Yukon Parks and Recreation, and we just do an overhaul of the parks in the city of Yukon. So we love that we get to bless the city of Yukon in that way, and it's been a great partnership. We receive on the other end from generous donors who say, yeah, I want to support you and my grandchild or my nephew or my friend for the fact that you're going to go serve the community for a day. I want to give you support. And so that blesses our school with which we're able to do things above and beyond what our normal tuition and budget can do. A lot of technology has resulted in that. Some of our technological advancements have come through Patriot Project fundraising for our school. And then also, but the money that comes in, we give back 10% to a ministry or a nonprofit in our local community. So last year, Compassionate Hands received a nice donation from our school, and this year Gateway Women's Resources is going to be the recipient of that. So it really is a win three ways. The city of Yukon, our school both win, and a local agency. And it's the service by our students, but the generosity of partners in our community.
I know it's not a day off for the kids. That's definitely not a day off.
No, they work hard. They work hard
all day long.
They really do. It's pretty remarkable and a fun, hard-working day.
Yes, it is. Mr. Cobbs, being the high school principal, you have your hands in a lot of the different programs of the school, and most of those tend to be in the higher grades. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the academic program. You've got a lot of academic programs within the school and the curriculum. For one thing, I know there's an award-winning robotics team. So let's talk a little bit about those.
Okay. So we do have an award-winning robotics team. They are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal.
No, that's great. We call it ball, and they compete on a global level, and they travel. They went to Hawaii a couple of years ago, California. Unfortunately, this past event was in Norman, so they didn't go very far. But they always come back with some nice awards. They compete on a global stage, and the ball program, they learn computer programming. They've got to build a robot, and it works on a table, and it charts a course, and it's completely autonomous after they program the computer to run it. And it's got to pick up certain objects and take it certain places. And while you're doing that, there's a team across from you doing the exact same thing, and they have the ability to sabotage your robot. So it's very competitive.
Oh my goodness.
So our students not only learn a lot of computer programming, but it's competitive and it's a lot of fun. So our kids love it. We've actually brought it down to 8th grade, can begin getting involved into it. So it's become a very good program for us.
Well, good. Glad to hear that. So let's take on nearly everyone's favorite school sport or school subject, which is sports. I know that since you've been here, you've been the football coach and the boys basketball coach, which are your passions. So let's talk about those, and let's not leave the girls program out of here. So,
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about those.
So about 10 years ago, Southwest Covenant moved from the small Christian school league here in Oklahoma and got involved in the state association, the OSSAA. And so we compete against public schools or private schools who are in the association. So we compete for state championships just like anybody else does. A lot of people think that we're still in this small Christian school league, and we're not. We compete statewide. So our athletic programs are continuing to grow. They get better and better. I've given up our football coaching position to a young man, Trey Cloud.
Really?
Yes. I just stand on the side.
Sorry, folks.
I just stand on the sideline on Friday nights and enjoy being out there with the guys. But I put very little into it. He's a fantastic young coach. We've been to the playoffs. Goodness, probably 5 of the past 7 years. And then he's been in the playoffs the last few years. This year, I think they're going to make a very deep run into the playoffs. They've got a very good squad, state ranked in Class C. Play 8-man football. It's a lot of fun. And then basketball, we've got some very good girl basketball players who are being recruited. They outstanding talent. I think they're going to make a good run. Boys basketball, we've been to state a couple of times. Played in the big house, in the fairgrounds, for Class B state championships. So it's a lot of fun. Volleyball went to state last year. Finished top 8 in the state, and so they, great accomplishment for our volleyball program. And they're probably better this year than they were last year. So we look for them to return to state again. So baseball won the academic state championship last year. So a lot of good things in our sports programs right now. A lot.
I know from personal experience, Southwest volleyball is quite a big deal at Southwest Covenant, and that was something that I looked forward to every year. And so I know
one of the things that's amazing about our sports program is the quality of coaches. From
true.
top to bottom, our baseball coach will be coaching any high school program in the state of Oklahoma. Our volleyball coach has been a college volleyball coach.
Right.
Our junior high girls basketball coach has been a college basketball coach. I mean, people see what's going on at the school, the quality of families and students, and they want to be involved. And it's just been exciting to see the Lord provide some outstanding coaches who are pouring into our students and spiritually and competitively.
I was just getting ready to mention the fact that they're not just the competitive nature. They're building the kids. They're teaching as they coach, and it's really phenomenal too. I know personal experience that we've had phenomenal coaches for at least the last 10 years, and so that's a good heritage to pass down. So any plans of adding any sports in the future that you're aware of, or do you have everything pretty much covered at this point?
we just had 2 years of high school baseball, so we added that. We reinstituted cheerleading a couple of years ago, and we added track. So we've really expanded quite a bit last few years.
And a state champion high jumper, a freshman, came out of that and won the school's first state championship. In track and field high jump.
That's fantastic.
So some great success. We really expanded there in the area of sports.
Is there much left to add?
There's a little bit. There's some left. Once we get these elementary kids into high school, and we'll have some bigger numbers and be able to continue to expand our athletic program.
I have heard that you're setting records with your class sizes right now. Your own records internally, and that's exciting. It's exciting to see it grow like that. So, well, that concludes all the questions I really have. Do you guys have anything to add?
I appreciate it. We love serving this community, the Yukon Mustang, Western Oklahoma City area, for families who love what they do in their church, love the principles that they teach in their home, and then they get to be able to bring their students here and get those same principles taught in the academic atmosphere. And so it's pretty special, and we're just pleased to be a part of this community.
Great. I have made this a little more personal than I do in most of my interviews, and
because you're part of the family.
Yes, it's a part of my heart. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching, and until next time, thanks. Bye bye.